Welcome back to my channel. I am here again with Poppy. I'm going to put the link to her channel down below in the description.
Today we're going to be talking about our worst travel experiences. I've been traveling now for almost a year.
And I've been traveling for a year and a half.
Let's be honest, we don't always have the best travel experiences.
When you see these people traveling the world on Instagram or YouTube, they can make it seem like travel is all just beaches and sun and butterflies and fairy tales. Do these people ever have a bad day? It certainly doesn't seem like it, but that's just not realistic.
No, definitely not realistic. But don't worry, we are not super depressing. We're making a video part 2 that I'm going to put on my channel and talking about our best travel experiences.
Yeah, definitely go check that out after this video. I'll put the link in the video itself so that you can go and see that, because you have to see both sides. Number 1, bad travel experience. Ooh. Whenever anybody asks me about a bad travel experience, kind of what comes to mind is my time in Costa Rica. I don't want anybody getting offended in this video. There's nothing against countries, there's nothing against places, but I just didn't have a good time there. Olivia and I were living for a couple months in the middle of the rainforest, in the middle of nowhere, and there was nothing around. We had to walk for maybe half an hour on a dirt road to get into town, and town was extremely small. Nothing wrong with that, but the place was just kind of very creepy. Nobody around, but then at the same time they would tell us that it's very unsafe, and so anytime we wanted to leave the house, even if we were just going to the garden, we'd have to take all of our things, all of our cameras, all of our laptops with us. So it was just really stressful. Actually, one time somebody did come into the house while we were there. He came into the house and sat on our couch and just stared at us like this. So intensely, we were like, hello, can we help you? And he just didn't talk, he just stared at us. And then he started going around our house, like scouting it out to come and rob it later, I guess, because he was looking at all the windows, like how secure are they. Once we heard singing in the night coming from down in the valley, and it was in the middle of our sleep, so we were kind of just like, oh yeah, people are singing down in the valley. But then in the morning when we woke up, but there's nobody for miles around, like who was down in our valley. Not like one thing that happened there. I can't even describe it, but it was just a very creepy vibe. Now for Poppy.
Okay. Unfortunately, when I was in Mexico exploring the beautiful island of Cozumel, within about, I want to say an hour of being there, my boyfriend and I get out of the ocean and all of our stuff is gone. Had some not so nice people here who jacked my camera. When I met Jordan, she had this Canon G7X camera and I was super stoked on that. I was like, I want to buy that camera. So I bought it. Well, guess what got stolen?
You had just gotten it.
I didn't even have it for 1 week. My debit card, all forms of money are gone. My clothes.
Awful.
I had no more clothes.
Oh my god.
I had to beg the people at the boat in Spanish. I was like, I don't even have clothes. I'm in a bikini. It's nighttime. I just want to go back to my Airbnb, in which I don't even have the keys, but I just want to get off this freaking island. And I'm almost butt naked. I just am in a bikini at night. Like, it was the worst. So yeah, my worst travel experience is definitely the camera thieves in Mexico. Your turn.
I got hit by a car in Rome. Italian drivers, or maybe it's Roman drivers, I don't know, are crazy. They don't listen.
Please tell me they hit you and ran.
Yeah, they did, yeah. They didn't stop, no. I saw the car going, but slowing down, so I thought, like, oh, it's gonna stop because it sees that the light is red. Well, no, it just kept going. It hit me, like, on my side.
Did it knock you over?
I fell over, and I don't know how, like, it didn't actually run me over. I guess I fell off to the side, and it just kept going. This old guy, like, came up to me, and he didn't even seem surprised. Just like, hey, you okay?
This happens all the time.
I was more just shocked. I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay. Bye. Back to Poppy.
Okay. From the get-go, when I started traveling, my computer just decided it didn't want to work anymore.
Okay, when I met Poppy,
yeah, when you met me,
her laptop was constantly in the state of dying, and so one day I go outside and Poppy's laptop is in a like bakery dish filled with rice sitting in the sun.
That was going on for months. I don't think you understand. I kept baking it in this rice. After those camera thieves stole all of our stuff. The next day, my computer didn't turn on.
My next one is, I think, a pretty entertaining story. I was in Australia and I spent a lot of money to go to Fraser Island, which I heard is this amazing place, like life-changing, beautiful, gorgeous, which it actually is, except I didn't get to see that. Right when I went, a cyclone happened to hit Australia, and everybody was like, oh no, it's gonna hit farther up north. It's not coming to Fraser Island. Well, guess where it came? Fraser Island. Then, to make matters worse, our tour guide, which is a vital part of going to Fraser Island, was kind of awful. When I booked the tour, they said, oh, have you ever heard of glamping, like glamorous camping? And they showed me all these pictures on Instagram. I don't need that.
Yeah, why would you even want that?
I didn't actually want that, but I was like, okay, that's what they are. When I get there, there's tents surrounded in a brown puddle of water. Not that I wanted glamping, but it was just like false advertisement, which kind of upset me. And then the guide, whenever anybody would mention the weather, he would just get personally offended. He'd be saying, oh, people have the best time of their lives on Fraser Island. This is an amazing place. Like, don't complain.
Is he like advertising? Cyclones are so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to have an amazing time, but of course the weather sucks. People are gonna talk about that. And whenever he would overhear anybody talking about the weather, it'd be like, no talking about rain, don't talk about the cyclone, like nobody mentioned that. One night, somebody had moved the car because it was getting all rained on inside. One of the windows was stuck open. You're not supposed to drive around the cars at night without the guides, obviously, but that's not what they were doing. They were just moving it. He somehow heard that the car had been moved, so he drove his car over to our camp. It's like 2 in the morning. He starts yelling, drunk, about how bad we are. You're the worst travelers. Which I don't think is the case, by the way. We were trying to have fun, but it was just, I mean, we were in a cyclone. So then he's like, nobody move the cars, nobody touch the cars, mistreating the cars. Like, okay, we're bad, we get it.
Drink your booze.
Yeah, go back to your camp now. So he got in his car to leave, and he drives his car into a tree. Back to Poppy.
Okay, in Costa Rica, I worked on a farm. Great experience, except there were also bad ones. We slept outside, and we slept with all the things outside. I had some little friends in my bed. Millions of little friends. 2 black scorpions that we found in my bed. When I told the owners of the farm that there's a black scorpion, like, what do I do? Is it poisonous? They came over and they picked up the scorpion with a stick and then just moved it, like, what? Next to my bed. But like, so it's not,
go back? So
it's not sleeping with me. Now it's just like on the floor. We don't kill things here. Totally respect that, but like, you have to put it next to my bed. Like, I don't know, maybe it's gonna detour and come back to sleep with me. I wanted to go take a nap in my bed, I think. The entire net of my bed is smothered in ants. All over my bed, like it's all black. They've like chosen my bed to form their colony. And like,
didn't you say there was like 40 beds and they just happened to choose yours?
There's like 40 beds in this outside thing and they just want mine.
Ever since Costa Rica, I just can't stand ants.
Jordan!
Okay, actually going back to creepy Costa Rica farm in the middle of the jungle. This happened on Halloween. It's like the ants knew. First of all, millions of ants invaded our house, and I can't even describe like how many ants there were. You couldn't see the floor, you couldn't see the windows, you couldn't see the walls, just ants. They brought in all this dirt. They laid the dirt on the floor. Then a lot of ants just start kind of hanging out in the dirt, and other ants come up and just behead them. Beheaded their own people.
I got
for some reason. They carried their bodies and set them in the dirt, pushed the dirt over them, hung around there for a while, like burying ants and looking at them, and then they all left, and they left this just ant graveyard in our hallway.
Ant graveyard.
It was. I don't think it's like a worst, but it happened.
It's an experience.
Poppy.
Okay. Oh, I got one. Okay. One of my friends had a kilo of San Pedro. At the time, I've never heard of San Pedro. I didn't know what it was. I later find out that it's one of Mother Nature's most powerful psychedelic. It's up there with ayahuasca. When my friend was telling me about it,
she said it's like a medicine or like a tea, right?
And I think for some people it is. I should have done more research on it. I don't really do that kind of stuff. But I was like, you know, I'm traveling, like I just want to try everything. No, that was not a good idea. The traditional dose is like 2 teaspoons. I had 8.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
8.
And especially that you didn't know.
I left Earth. Like, I left my body. I was tripping for 17 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I literally, I could have gone insane. That was not a good time, so yeah.
Okay, back to me. I actually went for an entire year of travel without any injuries, but that ended when I was on the Gili Islands in Indonesia. I was swimming in the ocean for all of maybe 5 minutes, and then I felt something painful strike my foot. It was a sea urchin with the spikes coming out. My foot just started intensely burning. My leg and my foot, I couldn't move. It really hurts, so I think we're gonna go to the doctor, but I don't know if I can walk on it. When something hits the sea urchin, it releases like the tips of its quills into that thing. Tips of the quills are poisonous. Livio had to carry me all the way through town.
Good job, Livio.
Yeah. Once we got to the doctor, I found even more pain awaiting. The way that they cure you of the sea urchin stinging you is that they basically just hit your foot over and over again. They were just literally hitting my foot with a hammer for 10 minutes. 10 minutes of just constant pain.
Oh God.
After 2 minutes of pain, I just couldn't stop laughing. That was my body's reaction. The doctor was acting like it was a big party. He was like, yes, hitting the foot.
Yes, let's hit more time.
So that wasn't fun.
All these experiences that we've had made us really appreciate the great experiences. And so that's why we're gonna make another video talking about our great experiences. Traveling to so many countries, you kind of like, it took us a while to even think of our worst experiences because travel kind of blends.
I feel like it's not one thing. This one experience happened. It's more a collection
like
of
little
moments.
things. And later we laugh about them.
Even though it's kind of a bad situation and at the time you're wishing you weren't stuck in a cyclone, at the same time it's gonna be a story and one day you're gonna look back on it and say, oh, remember the time that I was stuck in the cyclone in Australia? Somebody said it'll either be a good time or it'll be a good story. And I always try to think of that. I'll be laughing about that.
That's a great
later.
quote.
And I feel like in travel, those are the two main categories. Good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Great story.
there's no in between.
Well, now I am really looking forward to talking about our best travel experiences, the flip side of all this. Go for part 2 over to Poppy's channel and watch that.
Don't leave this video thinking we like
You're like,
suck and
oh, travel's awful.
like we're still traveling. We're in China.
So many good times that we've had. So definitely head over to Poppy's channel, watch part 2.
Part 2. Bye.
Bye, thanks for watching.